How did this interview happen? What can we expect? Is it a sit down? Were you able to go into the Maricopa County Jail?
Yes, indeed. Lori's been there for a while. She is now acting as her own attorney, and so she's getting a few more privileges maybe than some do. So it was a fascinating conversation, but we were able to have it. They provided a classroom for us. They allowed us some time to get our lights and cameras and everything all set up properly. They then even allowed us to have some cameras in the hallway as she was led down this hallway. And she winked at the camera on the way by. They took off her leg irons, but they would not take off her handcuffs. And so these bright blue handcuffs were on the entire time we did the interview. She would make a joke of it. We were given 90 minutes, which is a long time for a jailhouse interview. We normally get maybe 30 or 40, but this was a longer time. But I needed probably 3 times that time to finally get through to Lori, because she would dance and bop around and try to. She had her own agenda in this conversation. She wanted to tell her story, her truth as she saw it, which we knew that there's no evidence for. And I wanted to get her to talk about the real truth, so she became combative, flirtatious, in some way angry or resentful, perhaps, about the way she's been treated. But at the same time, she was quick and bright and smart, and you had to stay on your toes. So that by the end of 90 minutes, I was kind of wrung out in this stuff.
Did you feel that this was, again, the Lori Vallow show that she was trying to produce?
Absolutely. And, this gave me some pause, I must tell you, because I knew she was a woman who loves attention. And that's why she would do the interview and make it all about Lori Vallow. Her self-regard knows no bounds, and she loves the attention. So you have to balance that against the other factors in doing the interview. I felt that and a twinge about that, but I also had some moral qualms, because here is a woman who has been convicted of conspiring to kill her own children. I think she was there when they were killed. And, did she help? I don't know. Her brother did most of the work. That she conspired to kill her ex-husband, Charles. That she conspired to kill the wife of her lover. So all of these are pretty horrible crimes. She has been sentenced to 3 life terms. And so you're talking to somebody who's capable of doing that. And yet the conversation necessarily had to be somewhat light, give her the opportunity to say some of what she wanted to say, and not, try to prevent her from going down her old rabbit hole too far. But you have to be pleasant with a person like that, or she's just going to walk out on you. But it felt weird, I have to tell you.
Did she give you any more information or indication? You say that you believe that she was there, and that's the time frame that we really don't know how these children went from her house to Chad Daybell's backyard, who did what and how. Was there any insight there that you gained from her?
Well, the story that she told her son Colby, and which I knew she was getting all prepared, doing a ton of background, trying to eat up all the time available to prepare to tell me, was the idea that her daughter Tylee accidentally killed JJ, and in a fit of remorse killed herself. And then Lori walked in on the scene maybe 4.5 hours later, and she doesn't know what happened to the bodies. Somebody else took care of that. Was it Alex? Was it Chad? But when the investigation was done, again, all having to be well after the fact, because nobody discovered this for a time, it became clear from geolocation services and from cell phone tracking and for who was where when, that the murder of Tylee happened 2 weeks before, the murder of JJ. They simply did not die at the same time. And that immediately after each killing, Alex's cell phone traveled from Lori's place up to Chad's place, about 4 miles outside of town, remained there for a few hours on each occasion. Well, we can only assume what happened there. They found Tylee's body dismembered and partly burned, and JJ's body wrapped up in garbage bags and both buried in shallow graves in the pet cemetery.
Did she show any feeling, any grief over these two children?
No, and the question then becomes: is this because of her own particular delusions that she's living in, or is she without feelings? I have a feeling it's the delusions that are speaking more than anything else. She honestly believes that she has assisted them in letting them cross the veil from this world into the next world, and while they're in heaven, they come and see her in her prison cell, and they all love each other, and they have a wonderful time. And Jesus comes and joins them. He is he loves. He's funny. He tells jokes, and they all, Tammy and the children and her all hang out together. She doesn't mention Charles, of course.
What is, I don't know if you had a chance to touch on her relationship with Chad Daybell. I mean, now they're 2 states apart. And, even if they were in Idaho, it's like they can see each other. But is there communication there? Is she defensive of him?
They're not able to communicate in any way that we understand. But she talks about how he comes to see her in a prison cell also, and he crosses the portal, and they have conversations, and she's with the real Chad, and she sees him too, and that they will be exonerated someday, both of them, because they were falsely convicted, she claims, and they will be. She has seen them together, free. And she knows it will happen, and that she loves him now. She will love him forever. They are, they believe. If you believe, they believe, and I suspect they do, that they have been alive in many different bodies and many different personalities over the course of thousands of years. She told me that her original birth was as one of the daughters of Methuselah, the biblical character, and that she has had 25 past lives. Chad has had 31. 5 of them were on this planet, and the rest of them on some other planet like this one. It's just, But these are beliefs that she has internalized so thoroughly. I suspect she actually thinks that they're true. Although I leave open the possibility that this is all just kind of a game. It's just.
What was your biggest takeaway just from, having this opportunity to sit down with her?
I was surprised at how bright she is, and how engaging and charismatic she is, how aggressively she can pursue an argument. If she were a more regular person, I think she'd be a fine attorney. She's representing herself now, which is not probably a great thing to do, but she's quick, she's quick with a quick to respond. She's clearly been practicing. She would say, "Where do you hear that, Keith? Who told you that?" She's very good at kind of barking back at a question. But she's exhausting. By the end of it, you think none of what I heard is true. I feel like I'm living in crazy land, but at the same time, I would do it again. It was a really interesting experience.